Nerd Dice.
Welcome to this stateless code video. This is episode number 36 in our series nerddice.com, where we build a Ruby on Rails 7 application to manage tabletop role-playing. And this is our periodic retrospective where we reflect on what we've done recently, what went well, what can improve, and then think about some action items for the future, as well as look back on some of the other action items that we had from previous retrospectives and see how they're going. So typically what we do here and what we'll do now is talk through some of the things that have happened since the last retrospective on this series. So we had the retrospective 2, which was about Devise and authentication. Really liked the way the theme and the animated GIFs and the song all fit together with authentication and secret societies. You can check that out. I'll put it in the list of related videos. We had a couple things outside of this project that have gone on. I'll just cover them here. So we had our video 204, which I would recommend checking out. A lot of good content there, or is there. And then back with this project, we started out by a couple of things we wanted to tie up with regard to our Devise epic. So in our last retrospective, we had an action item to fix the bug where periodically there wasn't enough time allowed for an email to be sent. And so we went in and added a little test helper method that essentially called the Ruby sleep function for long enough to allow that to complete, and then yields the block that's given to it so that it can execute and not fail the build. It was doing okay locally, but when we tried to build it on GitHub Actions, sometimes it was just periodically failing when not given enough time to allow that email delivery in our our browser-driven application tests to run. Next thing we did was a very short-lived change. So we upgraded our Ruby version in the application from, I think, 3.1.2 to 3.1.3. It was a patch version update. And then right after that, Christmas hit. And every Christmas, there is a new version, minor version of Ruby released. So our video right after that was, we had our Nerd Christmas video and kind of went through some of the release notes on Ruby 3.2, and then the video right after that, we upgraded our Rails 7 application to use Ruby 3.2.0. So we did that. Continuing on, this isn't very interesting visually for you. Stay tuned. I'll go into at least the commit history so that we can talk through it. So we're talking right around here. Allow time for emails to be sent in system test. Ruby version 3.1, Ruby version 3.2. Then I had a video where I changed the kind of the internal contract we had with our Tailwind helper to always stop at the border in terms of these components we're creating with Rails helpers, so that the responsibility of margin and positioning and all of that is always on the calling item, and then the any given component ends at the edge of that border, which I think is the right way to do that if you're intending on kind of componentizing some of those things. Then we set Devise paranoid mode to true and adjusted our tests. So that is right now, before we executed it, it was telling you invalid, like the email address isn't valid in the sense that it's already been taken, or other information about that your new email address, things like that. And so you could do a user enumeration attack to find out which emails were or weren't in the system based on what was occurring. So we changed that to instead, whenever something is requiring a refresh token or anything like that, reset password token, resend confirmation token, to say if your email exists in our system, you will receive an email with your token. So that way, somebody who's maliciously trying to attack and find out who the users are and aren't in the system would have more, it would be less fruitful of an attack vector because you wouldn't be getting that feedback from the page. The next thing we did was we fleshed out some of our documentation for the project. So we had a kind of a surprise pull request during our Devise epic where some new stuff came in, and then we had so in response to that, I figured it was better now, sooner rather than later, to set out contribution guidelines, flesh out the README so that somebody who's trying to contribute to this knows what they need to do in order to set up the nerddice.com application and get it running in their local environment. And then the last couple videos, we refactored RuboCop to enable new cops by default, which allowed us to pare down the length of the configuration file by about half, and instead of having all these newly added RuboCop cops, just enabled new, like we're essentially copying and pasting from the warning message that comes up about the newly enabled cops. So instead of doing that, having our configuration file grow every time this happens, we decided to take those out and enable new cops by default. The trade-off being, whenever we do a bundle update, some of the stuff in the code base that was passing is going to potentially start failing and creating new violations. But in reaction to that, we can either adapt the code base to conform to that standard, or we can put in explicitly, let's disable that standard. Or we could temporarily disable it if it's going to take a lot of work, and then re-enable it when it comes back. But that way, at least the configuration file winds up having just what we care about and not everything else. The last thing that was kind of interesting was we tried to update the Rails bundle. We had some Dependabot alerts in the security portion of our repo here, and I thought it was going to be a quick 5-minute video bundle update. Everything worked locally, and then our build was failing, and it was because one of the gems in that, you can see the failed builds here, one of the gems in that was not correctly reporting its dependencies when we tried to install it into the gem file. And so there was an issue on this gem here, the Ruby debug gem, and I added a comment kind of reporting my experience with it. We had to downgrade from back to 1.6.3, and then the dependencies wrote correctly to our gemfile.lock, and we were able to get our build passing, and that leads us up to this video. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look at our previous action items. I'll just pause real quick and get that up and running.
Charlie, get out of the picture.
That was strange. What sort of an ill-fated omen could that be? Perhaps you should watch to the end of the video to find out. Alright, so let's take a look at our action item board. We'll start at the bottom. Not done anything with associate an image. Haven't done much with stateless code stuff. Statelesscode.com stuff anyway. I'm doing a ton of stateless code stuff. Explore more with Tailwind. I think we can call this one done. Move it to our done column. More WordPress stuff. Stop putting more topics in the same video. I think we can move this one to done. I think I've gotten better at breaking things into just the one video based on the one topic, and I've even we'll talk split out some stuff into smaller videos, like our mediocre karaoke things are now their own video. So even if you've got something big, you might have opportunities to split it out into something small that kind of is targeted to an audience and gets views. Things like if the upgrade Ruby to 3.2.0, that could have easily been just a do this and try to tackle something else. But as we'll see in the more retro part of the retro, it's a lot of retros. The what went well part of the retro, that video performed very well as a standalone video. So, but this is a continuous improvement I think that we've executed on, we can consider done. Maybe open an issue on Devise about the reconfirm message. I haven't done that. We'll say refactoring. This is in progress because we're done with nerddice.com. We have not yet done Nerd Dice. More on that to come. Create a specific YouTube playlist for the Devise videos. That is done. And the 2 videos that touched on Devise that we did after our last retro were also added to that playlist. So anything kind of where Devise is the main topic will kind of add to this nerddice.com playlist and to the Devise playlist where we're just dealing with the Devise stuff. And then the sleep user can reconfirm email, that is also done. That was the first video we tackled after that. So I think we're in good shape here. We'll probably be able to knock off this RuboCop 1 in our next video, which will be for the Nerd Dice Ruby Gem, some of the upkeep we need on that rather than on this video itself. Alright, I think we can take a look now at our normal retro board. You tried turning it off and on again. So the reason why I chose IT Crowd is, one, we as a family love it. My kids and I have essentially chats that are nothing but IT Crowd animated GIFs. If you go and look at the About section of the statelesscode.com, you can see a very clear reference to the IT Crowd. I came here to write code and drink milk, and I've just finished my milk. And then a lot of the stuff thematically in terms of what we were doing here was just kind of a hodgepodge of keep the lights off, technical excellence stuff. That there wasn't really a unifying theme to it, and so it kind of fit with the IT Crowd. It was just kind of normal day-to-day IT stuff. Our ghost song that we'll be doing with our Mediocre Karaoke is going to be He Is. So that little cameo by the ugly Copia Plushie, you'll see more from him as we continue on here. There wasn't really a good ghost fit for this other than Kaiserion. It's another deadline whistling past your ear, but we've already done Kaiserion when we were building our empire from the ashes of an old. So I think you'll gain some enjoyment out of the He Is section, and we'll break that out into its own sub-video as well. So let's start with what went well. The video about upgrading the application to Ruby 3.2 has gotten a ton of views. So it was whenever early January when I did this, and it's already number 11 all time in terms of views from my videos. Go figure. I've got stuff where I'm doing really cool meta programming on the Nerd Dice Gem, and it's got like 3 views, creating those magic methods and stuff. But sometimes you do something simple and it winds up really gaining traction. And so either way, it's eyeballs on the channel, and hopefully they see something related to setup, and another video that teaches a more fun programming concept comes up, and maybe I get subscribers that way. We had no snafus about pausing and unpausing, which is good. I think we moved that action item to done, but I think that action item can stay done, which is very encouraging. Love this. I feel so social. All right. The number of subscribers we had finally exceeded our total videos. Why did... Oh, something to improve. We've got our... that no snafus showing up twice. And we also have... This is a retrospective action for retro. Is all of these GIFs are stretched vertically. So when I'm searching for them, they show up as rectangles, and then when they publish, they're stretching them vertically into squares. So everything is visually distorted. I don't know. Maybe it's just point in time, January 2023, when this is happening, but it's suboptimal. We can say that. But let's talk about some number of subscribers finally exceeded total videos. That happened right around, maybe shortly after episode 200, and hopefully that trend continues exponentially, Lord willing. Let's see here. Video 204 amused me and resulted in a professional level mediocre karaoke performance that will never be equaled. So video 204 is its own thing, and then the professional level mediocre karaoke performance of 433 by John Cage is also its own standalone video. It is scrumtrulescent, let me tell you. Views, subscribers up by a lot over 2021. Let's take a quick look. So I did a 2022 recap for Stateless Code just on statelesscode.com as a blog post. So videos published, I went way down, and that's in the to improve section. Blog post published way down, but views are up a lot. Watch hours are up a lot. Subscribers are up a lot. An average view is up. So, and then over 200 videos published, over 200 subscribers, which now exceed videos viewed. And then we're up over 15,000 views now. So, all exciting developments. See here, splitting out the mediocre karaoke performances, as I mentioned earlier. That's helped draw more people to the channel, and when I do that, I kind of, hey, I'm not the best singer, but I'm really good at coding, so check out some of our coding videos. Kind of that ability to plug the other stuff. You get attention, and then you direct it to where it will actually help that person potentially build skills that will help them provide for themselves and contribute value. Now let's take a look at what didn't go so well. Made in Britain. I'll just put that over there with the rest of the fire. Anyway, not everything goes well in IT. We had some things not go well. Maybe we should call 0118-999-88199 9119-725 3. That's, no, I'm not going to do it again. Or am I? Can never tell. Anyway, things that can be improved. I forgot to sign the commits on the contributing and readme branch after amending the commits. So I did git commit amend, no edit, and then pushed it to the branch. And I didn't do amend -S to sign it. And so both of those commits wound up being and showing up as unsigned and unverified on GitHub. So that's just, I've got the main branch in that repo protected. So I think it's the lesser of two evils to just leave them unsigned rather than trying to force push to it or whatever. I just don't have undeniable proof other than the video I recorded as I was doing it that I wrote those things. So, oh well. You live, you learn. Maybe we'll have an action item for it, he said forebodingly. Still too many ums and ahs when I'm speaking. This video itself, it's a continued option and avenue for improvement. I can pause and think and say things without having to fill it with ums and ahs. This isn't something I think I have control over, but there was weird throttling on the Square Hammer Mediocre Karaoke video. I don't know what I can do to avoid it, but it went, right after a release, it went from like 0 to 75 views in less than 3 days, got 8 or 9 likes, and then just froze at 75 views, and then it's now, whatever, 2 weeks later, and it's at 77 views. So like it went off a cliff in terms of the trajectory it was on, and just flatlined in terms of views. I don't know what I can do about that, but it's whether it's something I can improve or whether it's just saying what didn't go well. We already talked about the 2022 review and the number of videos decreasing, videos and blog posts. And then, speaking of blog posts, I'm still behind on getting those posts up on statelesscode.com. I've been writing better video descriptions, though, for the YouTube videos. So, like, once I, like, essentially make those into blog posts, it will take very little additional writing and editing on my blog post itself to get it from the YouTube description to the post on statelesscode.com. All in all, the things that went wrong were rather minor. Oh, did I miss an opportunity? Missed an opportunity. How about that? So, I should have worn, we had the Make Devise Paranoid video, and I should have worn a tinfoil hat. And I even missed the opportunity when I missed the opportunity there. Like, I scrolled on by it without even calling it out. So, that, I think it would have been fun if I were wearing a tinfoil hat during that whole section on Devise and making it paranoid. But you know what? A missed opportunity in the past, I can't change the past, but a missed opportunity doesn't need to stay a missed opportunity. What could be done about this? Lovely. Oh, by the way, I've cracked the code. I finally figured out the shadow organizations, and the Illuminati know that they're finally primed for world domination. And now you've got black helicopters coming across the border, puppet masters for the new world order. Be aware, there's always someone that's watching you, and still the government won't admit they faked the whole moon landing. Thought control wave, psychotronic scanning, don't mind that. I'm protected 'cause I've made this hat of aluminum foil. Wear a hat that's foil lined, in case an alien's inclined to probe your butt or read your mind. May look a bit peculiar, seems a little crazy, but someday I'll prove it's a big conspiracy. See what you missed out on that video. I'll keep the hat on for the rest of the retro while we look at our retrospective action items. Hello, IT. You tried turning it on, off and on again. The one that looked like a button. Are you from the past? Anyway, always check the commits that were signed on pull requests before merging them. So our big snafu with regard to not signing commits, the solution is check it when doing the pull request. And I've already started that one can go into our action items thing as in progress because I've done it on the last 2 videos. Maybe it's just because I'm constantly vigilant and paranoid after having made that mistake recently, but no, I see. Yeah, no need to take the pencil dive out the window. Just make it better. Action items, continuous improvement. That's what we're about. We're also apparently about having things in our pocket that we and wanting people to quiet down. So we'll come back to devote some attention to the neglected Ruby Dice gem at the end here. So we'll swing back up to that. Create a promo for the nerddice.com series. So I've got one for the Nerd Dice Ruby Gem, and I've got one for Rails 7 getting started. When a video runs short enough, I will kind of tack that in at the end to allow for people to go and learn more. So I should do the same thing for this nerddice.com series, where we're really building an end-to-end Rails 7 application. And then one more thing. So the original RuboCop video I did, this is fresh in my mind since I just did a RuboCop video recording yesterday, was still our most watched video of all time, even though it was like the fourth or fifth video I did. It was very, very early. So it's one of those things, like you start and you get better over time. So like looking back at that as a YouTube person, I can kind of cringe at it, like, oh man, this is rough. The intro music is way too loud, and the video, the logo looks worse, and all that other stuff. But I can update the description of the video to say, hey, since this was published, we have all this other stuff that's touched on RuboCop. Check that out. So that's an opportunity and something that I think we can execute upon. So I will move these all into the our action items list. You don't have to watch me type those. You get the idea. It's essentially Control-C, Control-V, but I'm not a premium Nerd Dice or premium Retro subscriber, so I'll have to actually Control-C, Control-V it. You don't have to watch me do that. The last thing, and this is relevant to what we're doing immediately next, is to devote some attention to the poor neglected Nerd Dice Ruby gem. So we're working on nerddice.com. Once we start going on that, Nerd Dice will be a dependency for nerddice.com. Anything that we're doing where we're rolling dice, we're going to leverage the work done on that to do it. But the gem itself isn't even really installable currently, because the gem signing certificate on it is expired. So I need to kind of go and get that done. It's actually been expired for over a year now, which is very sad. So that'll show up in the Nerd Dice retro that we do as our next retro before we come back in and continue on with nerddice.com and Ruby on Rails. And when we do that, you can see our backlog is down pretty sparse right now. We're going to, the next big thing we're going to do is some design brainstorming, prioritization, like what are all the features that you want to see in a tabletop role-playing game application. I am a tabletop role player, so thankfully I'm consumer and developer, but I still want to get some different perspectives and then think about, for me, what would it take, what's the true minimum viable product that we could do to get me using this instead of what I do today, which we'll show in one of our future videos to kind of illustrate the pain and the existing status of what I'm doing, at least, and what I'm hoping to improve on and replace as I go about preparing for my sessions, both as a player and as a game master. And then I've got kids who are also running their own campaigns, and we need to figure out how to coexist with that, and this app can help do that. I think that's it, except for I will hand things over and we'll take a look at the beautiful piece of art, the masterpiece behind me, which the lighting in the room does not do justice to, and we will see you there. Now it's time to take a look at the masterpiece that they want to keep from you. So throughout this series of videos, I've had this piece of art here by j.morp_art in the background. The lighting in this room isn't great for it in terms of the glossiness and everything, but this is really slick. I mean, I am biased because I'm her dad, but this is really like a quintessential D&D fantasy picture here going on. So we've got the red dragon. You can see the skull and the pile of gold in the middle, lower middle there, getting burninated, and then you've got Karnak and Endomius over there in the corner, kind of cowering away from the breath weapon of this red dragon here. So be sure to follow j.morp_art on Instagram, and we'll trade this out for our next series of videos and replace it with something new. But this is one of my favorites, and in terms of a D&D app, it's hard to do better than having that in the background as I'm doing all this stuff. So I'm really proud, obviously, of her as an artist, but also it's a really cool and fun and thematic thing for when we're working on a D&D app. So we'll see you in the next video. Or will we? Maybe I've been compromised. That sedation at the end of the song. Taxes are the price we pay to live in a civilized society. No, that wasn't me. I'm still here, still an anarchist. Oh wait, that was early in the video. That was referring to something. Maybe you might want to, well, maybe you don't, want to catch the mediocre karaoke video that they are trying to keep from you. Blink a couple more times. Maybe I shouldn't blink. Like that Marvin Applewhite guy from the Hale-Bopp comic cult. He never blinked. It was kind of creepy. But anyway, on to the mediocre karaoke. I look like I'm gonna like storm the Capitol in my tinfoil hat. It's got a Viking sort of vibe to it, doesn't it? Anyway, gone for real this time. We're standing here by the abyss, aren't we, ugly Copia? Yes. You know, it's easy to profane something that is holy. To profane something that is already profane. Now that takes not talent, but a certain... Well, you'll have to hear it to find out. Cover your ears, ugly Copia.
We're standing here by the abyss, and the world is in flames. Two star-crossed lovers reaching out to the beast with many names. He's the shining and the light without whom I cannot see. And he is insurrection, he is fight, he's the force that made me be. He is Nostra Sparta, Nostra alma mater, he is. We're hiding here inside a dream, and all our doubts are now destroyed. The guidance of the morning stars will lead the way into the void. He's the shining in the light without whom I cannot see. And he is insurrection, he is spite, he's the force that made me be. He is Nostra Sparta, Nostra alma mater, he is. He's the shining and the light without whom I cannot see. And he is insurrection, he is spite, he's the force that made me be. He's the shining and the light without whom I cannot see. And he is the disobedience that holds us together. He is Nostra Sparta, Nostra alma mater, and we are falling over the precipice. Oh no. Speak to me, ugly Copia. Speak to me. He was.
Thanks for watching this Stateless Code video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and spread the word. Check out our growing library of videos on our social media channels. Follow us at Stateless Code, and Taxation is Theft.